There's a Gataxian Probe. Let's take a look. 2 Scalding Tarns, Force of Will, Ponder, Treasure Cruise, Young Pyromancer, and a Monster Swift Spear. That's a pretty good hand.
Though this is the type of hand where Stifle can do some good work.
Yep. Stifle may have to be Force of Willed in this instance, if it does come down to that, but we'll see how things do break. Pass the turn back. And Stifle is there. You can see it. Daniel is... That's a man ready to stifle land.
This old chestnut.
Yeah, come on, I dare you. Sacrifice. Haven't seen this game for a little while. The old Stifle Your Fetch Land game. Gonna go get a Volcanic? Yes. Don't forget, too, these Blue-Red Delver decks, they've really skimped on lands. 16 here. I believe Tom Martell at the Grand Prix was playing 15. And memory serves, I remember saying, I want to play 14. I only need like 2 lands to go. Force of Will. Moving Treasure Cruise. Boy, Days would be a beating right now. That's okay.
Yeah, if there was a Days involved, it would be no longer clear who mulliganed to 5.
Yeah. Will's going to search for a basic mountain. Does not want to have to worry about Wasteland. It's time for Swift Spear. In for 1. And we're going to head back Daniel's way. He'll draw a card. It's a copy of Spell Pierce. There's a land. And he can safely Lightning Bolt now if he'd like. He's going to start with Delver. Just pass the turn back. So Fleischman will draw. Delver Secrets is the draw for his turn. You see the Scalding Tarn in his hand, along with the Polluted Delta, so land's not going to be an issue here. Delver Secrets there, along with the Ponder. We know about the Young Pyromancer, too.
Really solid 5-card hand here for Daniel.
Yeah. He can definitely play. That's for sure. Gonna sacrifice the Delta. Probably go get a basic island. Yep. That's one of the nice things about this Blue-Red Delver. Since you're not 3 colors, you can search for basics.
It's still a challenge because the deck is full of 1-mana spells across both colors. And so you can't always play efficiently on Island Mountain. You'd ideally like to get Volcanic, but it is nice to have the option.
There's Young Pyromancer. Thumbs up there from Daniel. Take a look at Delver. Now that's a whammy. The question is, do you want to sacrifice the Tarn or not? The answer is no. I wouldn't want to either with Tarmogoyf. There's a Bolt to take care of Young Pyromancer. Now in comes Delver Secrets for 1. Spell Pierce at the ready here for Olivieri. Ooh, another copy of Swift Spear perhaps. It will start with a Tarn. Now a Swift Spear. And now Ponder. Trigger Prowess twice. Take a look at the top 3. Fork Bolt among them and decide what to do.
I was surprised to see Daniel there not use the Spell Pierce, because he's probably tapping out for Tarmogoyf next turn. And then what else is the Spell Pierce really going to do? And now this Ponder's found a Gataxian Probe.
Yeah, now we're having lots of fun. Show you Tarmogoyf and a Spell Pierce, but it's going to be a big attack now. And Tarmogoyf may not be able to block the road. No draw. Forked Bolt 2. And this comes.
And now,
not going to cast Fork Bolt, of course.
Now Will is aware of the Spell Pierce, and he can play the Delver post-combat and leave Fork Bolt in his hand for next turn when he has 2 mana available to pay for a Spell Pierce.
Yep. So 6 damage is going to come across. Daniel going to go down to 9. And time to sacrifice that Scalding Tarn. We'll see if it'll be Island or Volcanic Island. The basic or non-basic. It'll just be a basic. That'll allow him to play the Delver of Secrets. It's a really nice start here for Will. There's Delver. Pass it back. Take a draw. Force of Will will flip it.
Force of Will, among the better cards, I think, to find here, as it allows Daniel to do something with the Spell Pierce.
Yeah, a little surprised to see the sacrifice there. Force of Will actually gives him the protection that he's looking for.
Yeah. Then it's your Delver that's flipped against, you know, Will's. You draw a Bolt, you're in really good shape. You have Tarmogoyf holding down the ground. If Daniel's not looking for that, I'm not sure what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? If you're going to sacrifice that, what's the draw step that you're looking for? If you could Demonic Tutor, what would you want to draw on your deck?
Yeah, it's probably Lightning Bolt.
There's Brainstorm. Never a bad draw, but I think you have to deploy Tarmogoyf this turn. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit.
I mean, you can leave the Delver back on defense with the hope of trading with an opposing Delver if it flips, but it's hard to be on defense in this matchup.
Yeah. He's getting on offense. Push down 10. There's Tarmogoyf past the turn back. It's big. We know that. Take a draw. Force Will's going to flip this over. And if he goes upstairs here with Forked Bolt,
it's a pretty solid attack. He gets to, if he Alpha Strikes, he knocks Daniel down to 3. If he, assuming they use Fork Bolt on the Insectile Aberration. He also has the option of just going at Daniel.
Yeah.
Which knocks him to 1 if he attacks with everything.
But he could die to the counterattack. I think that's the issue, right? If he attacks with everything, Tarmogoyf eats one of those creatures, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 for the attack, and then if he rips a bolt or brainstorms into a bolt, he could lose.
He also doesn't have to do anything with the Monastery Swift Spears. He can just kill the Insectile Aberration, attack with the Insectile Aberration, and say go. Daniel can't really attack.
Yeah, I like the more conservative approach to that line you just mentioned, which is, yeah, kill that, get in the earth for 3, and that's it. But we'll see. Yep. This can be risky.
It is. If Daniel draws a way to kill the Insectile Aberration, he's way ahead.
Ding, ding, ding. Fork Bolt there. I like almost want to attack there.
Yeah, it's so close.
Yeah. Because I know my opponent's hand is Force of Will, but this favors, I think, deaths.
Oh, big time now.
Yep, there's that. And mine goes, now you get to attack. In for 4.
And the green cards, they are rearing their ugly head right now.
All of a sudden, you're looking at lethal attack next turn. What's the draw? It's Delver Secrets. Wooded Foothills and Force of Will there for Will. He's going to deploy the Delver and pass the turn back. He'd love to be able to play that, not flip. He'd love to be able to play that and flip next turn, not have to block with it, excuse me. Pass. You can untap that Trop, as that should be untapped. There you go. I think you have to cast Brainstorm now.
Has to.
I would have liked casting before even playing the land. Though you could be a little scared of Spell Pierce, but I think you got to cast it. He's just going to attack first.
I think in Will's position, he just has to chump block the Tarmogoyf and hope for the best. He can't beat a Bolt anyway because the Bolt kills the Delver and you're dead on the next turn.
Yeah.
So I think this has to just be Swift Spirit from Tarmogoyf. Cross your fingers.
Oh, I think that's what he's going to do. Here's a Brainstorm. 1 is a Force, 2, and 3. And now Daniel's crossing his fingers that Delver doesn't flip. A lot of back and forth in this game.
And Daniel on a 5-card hand and still has the Spell Pierce he hasn't been able to deploy. But Tarmogoyf and Nimble Mongoose were so many cards out of Will's deck that we have a competitive game.
And just think, if he would have brainstormed in response to the Delver Secrets, maybe he finds a Force of Will. We're talking about something different.
I think if we go back and he Spell Pierces the Ponder,
Yeah.
a lot of the damage he took on that big turn doesn't end up happening.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what cards to put back here. Looks like Tarmogoyf and Misty. It all comes down to the top card of the deck. What is it? It's a Force of Will. That's going to flip that over, and that is going to do it. Will Fleischman is going to win game number 1 here over Daniel Olivieri. Blue-Red Delver up a game over Teamer Delver.
A good sweat there.
Yep.
I mean, that was a pretty dramatic back-and-forth game. Tarmogoyf still feels like the best card in the matchup, but Daniel not quite able to recover from that mulligan to 5.
You saw the way it just turned that game around very quickly.
Yep.
Puts the defenses up. It's a roadblock, and it attacks for a lot of damage, too. So we'll see if it can get the job done in game 2 or number 3. But trivia time, rules question.
Cedric will ask you a question. Tweet your answer at SCG Live and hashtag SCG Premium. Of the correct responses, one will be selected for a full year of Star City Games premium content. Please keep in mind that this giveaway is run at the sole discretion of StarCityGames.com and that Twitch TV is no way affiliated with giveaways or contests on its stream.
One of our favorite questions when we do this sort of thing. I will be playing next weekend. Patrick will be doing coverage next weekend in Portland. Who's he going to be doing coverage with? And you know the rule.
Extra credit for extra opportunities to get this entire year of Star City Games premium content, access to the best Magic the Gathering content on the web. Include the Twitter handle of the answer in your tweet.
He is a big fan when you do this. Blows up his phone.
Loves it. Uses up a lot of his data.
Yep.
Probably wakes him up if he's napping.
Going to want to use that Twitter handle. Again, extra credit, the most important part.
Exactly.
Being able to interact, too.
If you want the maximum number of opportunities to win this full year, use the Twitter handle of the person in question.
Make sure you hashtag SCG Premium, too. We'll announce the winner at the conclusion of our final round. As we do head back down, take a look at the sideboards here. Get ready for game number 2. Daniel's side, he's got 2 Cages, a Needle, a True Name. I think that's going to be a big one here, along with a Sulfuric Vortex, an Ancient Grudge, a Flusterstorm, 3 copies of Power Blast, a Frozen Grip, 2 copies of Submerge, and 2 copies of Rough Tumble.
The Rough Tumbles are great.
Yes.
I mean, Will's Young Pyromancer deck does not want to be playing against this card. I think the 3 copies of Power Blast are good, but not great. There's kind of a lot of that stuff floating around, but Power Blast is probably better than most, especially in a matchup where you're not worried about Wasteland, not worried about getting caught off of red. And the 1 copy of True Name Nemesis, very powerful if Daniel can get it into play.
Other side of things, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Pit the Needle, a Grim Lavamancer, a Blood Moon, an Echoing Truth, Electric Trickery, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Price of Progress, 2 Power Blast, and a Singleton Smash to Smithereens.
The 2 Pyro Blasts are fine here, although not great because I think most of the battle Will needs to fight is over the green cards, not the blue cards. Once you get past that, there's not really a lot to like. I think the 2 copies of Flusterstorm are okay. I think the Blood Moon is suspect in this matchup because Daniel can get out ahead of him. Not a good solution to Tarmogoyf for Nimble Mongoose that's already in play, but he might bring it in and try to get the free win.
We'll see what does happen here. I still think Teamer Delver's favored.
Yes.
That was a mulligan of 5. Don't forget about that.
A very winnable game.
Yeah. A lot of back and forth there. Well, we're going to see how things do break. But there was a lot of play, a lot of back and forth, as you said.
Yes.
That's the key.
Definitely felt like a winnable game.
And next weekend, we will be in Portland. Looking forward to that tournament, too. That's the last one before our Season 4 Invitational, man.
It's come so fast. A full year. You and me hanging out. And next year's going to be a lot more of the same.
We've been everywhere.
More shows, in fact.
Yep.
We've been everywhere. In fact, certain places we've been to several times.
Yep. Seen it all, done it all. It's been a blast, too. I'll tell you. I've had a lot of fun on these travels. If you like flying around a lot, which, you know, oddly enough, I don't mind. It can be pretty fun at times.
Yeah, I agree. I think, 20, 30 years from now, I'm going to look back at this time of my life and say, man, that was really weird. But I am enjoying this quite a bit.
I wish I had taken more pictures.
Yep.
I always get on this thing where it's always at the beginning, too, of the year where I'm just like, I'm going to take pictures of more places I go so I can document this stuff. So, the first trip, I'll take a picture in the airport when I'm leaving Seattle to whatever city I'm going. I'll take a picture of, that screen at the gate that says, this flight's going to that city. So I'll do that. And then, take one when I get back, and then I'm just off it. It's not even a lot of work. I just forget.
Well, most of the airports just don't have a lot of distinguishing characteristics, too.
Yeah.
The only one that's memorable to me is every time I land in Newark, because when you're walking out of the terminal, I had to walk past this stupid I Love New York t-shirt kiosk that they have in the Newark airport, and I just want to kick that thing over.
That Newark's in New Jersey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. How did they get away with that?
It's so close to New York, and it sounds like New York that most people just don't even know.
That's kind of depressing and sad.
I had to take the bus over to the train station once from the airport, and a bunch of French tourists were on the bus with me, clearly confused about where they were going.
What is this place? Where are we?
We're going to New York Penn Station, right? No, you're going to Newark Penn Station.
You are lost.
I understand how you could get this confused, but you are not going to the right place.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Yikes. I hope you helped them. You probably didn't.
Well,
I've got
from
three.
Newark, it's easy to get to New York. So
All right, if you say so. Player's going to keep. We're underway. It's a Ponder off of Volcanic Island, a Stifle, a Delver, and a Tarmogoyf. I want to keep all of those. Oof, no green mana.
yeah, I kind of want to shuffle because
Yeah.
the only thing I'm interested in is green mana.
Yeah, I need a fetch or a Tropper real bad. And he's going to shuffle them away.
We know the power of Tarmogoyf in this matchup. I'm sure Daniel knows too. So
good.
those cards are fine, but I really just want to get the Tarmogoyfs and Nimble Mongoose into play as fast as possible.
Going to shuffle them away. Mystery card coming from Ponder here for Daniel. It's a Stifle. Pass the turn back over to Will. Will draw. Volcanic. Swift Spear. Thumbs up. Probe. Take a look. Stifle, Brainstorm. Nimble Mongoose. Tarmogoyf, Wasteland. And a Fork Bolt.
A hand that could really use green mana, and even if Daniel doesn't find green mana right away, has some opportunities to find it and a chance to defend himself as well.
Yep.
Really solid hand.
I'd be happy with it. I especially like leading out with Wasteland here, too. You know, he's going to take some damage here, but I think he'll be okay. See the hand price of progress. There's also another probe in there, so can pay 2 more life to deal another point of damage. Get a little deeper in the deck. Yep, he's going to do that, so he's down to 16.
His hand's a little weak right now, and I think once you're on the price of progress plan, it's fine to make that kind of exchange.
Pass the turn back. Daniel will draw. It's a copy of Pyroblast. There is a Wasteland. Take care of that.
Like it.
I like Fork Bolting this, too. I understand maybe wanting to leave Stifle up. Maybe.
I think that I would have just opened this turn on Brainstorm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I don't think he can afford to just try to keep these reactive cards up. I guess if he Fork Bolts, it's fine. Sort of splits the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to leave. I don't want my turn to be leave Stifle up. I
Sure.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, this path is fine. I still think that I would have Brainstormed first. Because the upshot of finding green mana means maybe you don't even have to Fork Bolt that thing.
You can just play Nimble Mongoose and work that way.
Yeah.
Or a Tarmogoyf. There's a basic island.
And because of Pyroblast in Will's sideboard, your blue cards aren't as safe to resolve in Game 2 as they are in Game 1. So you do have to err a little bit on the side of get the blue stuff out of my hand first when Will's shields are down.
There's Delver's Secrets. I'm going to pass the turn back over to Daniel, who will draw a copy of Ponder. Does he want to go cantripping on this turn? If so, which one does he want to cast?
I think with the Tarmogoyf in play, Daniel can play a control game here. I don't mind just casting Pyroblast on the Delver.
He's going to start with a Ponder. That's going to get dazed. Pass the turn back. Will this flip? Ding, ding, ding. Force of Will's big. There's the island. Beatdowns push you to 14.
Though Will's hand is really light. I mean, it's Force of Will, it's Price of Progress, and it is lands after that.
He's going to try to cast the Pyroblast now. It's good to go.
And I think that's a giveaway of a big sign of weakness here because I think if Will could fight over that, he would have.
Yeah, me too. Blood Moon.
Ooh. The plot thickens.
It certainly does. Here's a fetch land, pass the turn back. Draw, a Stifle. Here's a Brainstorm. If you're Will, you got to remember your opponent's playing Stifle.
Yep.
So you got to pick your spots on when to sacrifice these fetch lands. That's good. Trop. Foothills, Tarmogoyf. Those are good cards in this matchup. One Stifle's going to go back. We'll see if the other one will. Looks like a Trop is going to go back too, given that he does have a wooded Foothills. So 2 cards back. Wooded going to go to the play. Sacrifice this. Good to go. Down to 13. You have to imagine Tropical Islands what he's going to put into play right off the top of the deck. There it is. And now we shuffle. Now the question is, does Daniel put a threat into play, or does he leave Stifle up?
I think it's hard to rationalize leaving Stifle up here. I guess opposed not really doing anything. It may end up KOing Daniel, but he's just going to sit on his heels.
Yep.
I think that if Daniel wanted to do this, I would have strongly preferred for him to keep the 3rd land. So the next turn he has access to, I can cast Tarmogoyf plus Stifle.
He's going to sacrifice here. Just getting your land stifled there is just, I just don't really like it. There's just no really, you could have played around it.
Yeah.
You know? That's the thing that I don't like about that, is he could have easily played around that. And there's no, like, I don't think there's much of a gain of, I'm trying to induce him to a stifle, because I don't think that's the case.
With Blood Moon in hand, it feels like you just want to make your 3rd land drop and try to seal the deal.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to.
Now he's just going to pass the turn back, so a bit of a misstep there from Will. A 3rd land drawn here for Daniel. I think now he might deploy the Mongoose, potentially Delver too, but if I'm Daniel, I just want to get some threats out there.
Yeah, time to speed it up. And on the other side of it, you can see some of the problem with Blood Moon in the matchup is if Daniel says resolve a Tarmogoyf or a Nimble Monk and a Nimble Mongoose this turn, Daniel doesn't need to resolve anything else. And a 3-mana spell is such a high opportunity cost against Temur Delver that I'm not sure you can justify keeping it in the deck. At least for game 3 if we get there with Will on the draw.
Goyf's in. Got a good look at Will's hand. He's got 2 copies of Price of Progress and a Force Well. That's it.
And I think that might be the plan. It's possible this is Will's plan here. I mean, if Daniel sacrifices this fetch land, goes to 12, and casts something,
Light him up.
2 copies of Price of Progress, and that's it.
Yep. Boy, he is hesitant to sacrifice that land.
And Will's got the kill. He's got it.
He's got 2 Price of Progress in his hand. Now, the bigger question is he willing to fire them off right away? Like, is he willing to fire one off into a potential daze?
Well, the thing is, if Daniel has daze, your Price of Progress is worth a lot less anyway.
Sure, he just picks up a land.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks like he's going to search up a Trop. There's that.
This has come up for me before. You're better off, if the card you're worried about is daze, you're usually better served just casting it.
Sure. There's Delver's Secrets. We'll see if Will does that. Well, he's reaching, so there's Price of Progress right now. Takes 6.
Just going to punk Daniel out.
And with how quickly that resolved, you have to believe he's going to untap, draw, and just cast the other one. There's Price of Progress number 2. That is 6 more. That's 12 points of damage and 2 cards. That's going to do it. Will Fleischman is going to win this match here over Daniel Olivieri, and he is your Star City Games Legacy Open champion here in Atlanta.
Daniel's draws a little fumbly there, and game 1, Will able to win a squeaker on the back of flipping that Delver on the exact last turn. And then game 2, it took Daniel too long to get something going. And Will was able to set up the kill with 2 copies of Price of Progress.
Congratulations to Will, getting the job done with blue-red Delver. It's the new school Delver approach that gets the job done over the old school Delver approach.
And